Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody, listen, we are at the International Code Council Summit, and this is the after event. There has been classes and educational seminars and panels all day long, and we're going to walk around and we're going to showcase some of the people that are here and what they are doing. So we are in the National Building Museum. So if you didn't know about the National Building Museum, it does exist. I did not know that it was here either. So this is going to be super exciting. I'm super excited to talk about what's happening here, not only with the ICC, the International Code Council. HUD is here. NTA is here. There's an innovative housing showcase happening on the mall in Washington, D.C. right now out there. So there's 30 to 50, I don't know what the number is, of innovative homes and products that are being showcased. Secretary of Housing's been through there. A lot of the policymakers, politicians have been around all day, and we've got to interview some of them, which is a lot of fun. So why don't we take you on a little journey? Let's go talk to some of the people that are here. Hopefully they don't run from the camera, but let's go. You ready, Vince? Let's walk over here. We're going to go this way first, and then come on, let's go. I think I see Sarah and Logan. We'll go talk to Sarah and see what she has going on. So. I will not. So let's walk over here and let me see if I can grab Sarah and Ivan real quick. You guys got 2 seconds or 3 and stagger roll? All right. So Ivan Rupnick, Sarah and Logan, legends. You know, everybody knows who they are. How's the event been for you so far, Sarah?
It's been actually really great. Like short, succinct, short and sweet.
Yeah, and how about you, Ivan?
Well, seeing HUD and ICC come together and talk about the future of the regulatory environment is awesome.
Yeah. It's funny. I just said that when I started the show. This is the best part about it. And NTA's here.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. You had a panel discussion today, and why don't you tell us a little bit about it, both of you guys? So.
Yeah, I think we were just highlighting challenges, barriers, how to break through those barriers, positives, what we're seeing as the future of the industry, what we're excited about, what positive growth we've seen.
Yeah.
And really our panel was there to set up the second panel, which was really about looking at how HJs, how authorities having jurisdiction, are adopting offsite. So we're all fans.
Sure.
But today was really about how can the federal government, how can cities and states help grease the skids and get more out of offsite.
Are you guys seeing a shift with the local municipality, city, state, and federal coming to the table to really understand what offsite construction is and how it can play a role in affordable housing, sustainable housing?
Yes, I think honestly the crisis is bringing everyone to the table, and honestly the interest rates. I think there are a lot of people without housing, a lot of people who can't afford housing, and we have to solve it. So I think they're looking at new and not so new, but innovative solutions to do that.
Yeah. What's your take?
Well, and I think the bottom up, that you hear a lot about fragmentation, but really
right.
Bottom up, people are looking for solutions. I think we need more national solutions that are optional, but that we can use. So the MBI ICC standard is great, and we need more of that kind of work where people can choose to streamline their process, whether it's a city or a state. The state of Maine is here, the state of New Mexico is here. So cities like Salt Lake City have had success from going from no code to code. So
sure.
a lot of momentum.
Yeah. So Ivan, you travel the world all the time to all the different countries. Some of the innovation that you're seeing overseas, do you see it coming here in the United States?
Well, I literally see it coming here because Sarah
well, I was going to go there.
One of the people that we all admire so much.
Yeah.
So, and I think the point, too, is that the innovation is in people. It is also in technology. So Khalid Lidlow is a person, not a software, not a hardware. And that kind of intelligence and that kind of deep knowledge, and that kind of dialogue, we're seeing more people from the U.S. learning abroad, and we're seeing people from abroad coming to work in this market. And that's just a great thing for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing, right, Sarah? Because even volumetric building companies has expanded overseas and vice versa. You got the new factory in Qatar. She's not busy at all.
Not busy at
all. Not busy at all. Why don't you tell us about what's happening in your world? I mean, you started, with your office up in Boston, but now you're global, and that's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot to manage design and engineering, and how many facilities now? And 5 plants. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think what makes it manageable for me is really understanding, really having a platform thinking kind of methodology, right? Like there are more things that are similar than are dissimilar. Right. And so if we can really optimize the things that are similar, but still make room for kind of growth and innovation in the various sectors, that's how we're managing the workload. That's how we're managing being as big as we are.
Sure. Culture in manufacturing is such a big thing. I've been to BBC many, many times over the years. For you, Ivan, traveling the world, does that hold true around the world that you got to have the culture for the innovation and the new technologies to really be adopted?
Again, that's key. I think having people on the same page and bringing in both the folks in the company and then the team, as we call the modular team, people who work that reoccurring partnerships. And I guess that's what we're seeing. Like AHJs want offsite. We need to get that information out there. We need to educate, and we need to streamline those permitting processes and those regulatory frameworks.
Yeah. Have you been out in the showcase yet?
I have not yet. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
You wait till tomorrow. We're going to be live tomorrow, so if you're watching 9 a.m., we'll be walking around, and you may find Sarah out there again. Have you been out there at all?
Yeah, we made it out there this morning, and it was really impressive to see finished homes shipped across the country. It's a real testament to the maturity of the offsite sector. From LA to DC, and not a scratch on, for example, the Connect Homes ADU. It looks great, and that's an accomplishment for the industry just by itself.
It is. So, Sarah, you're running the design and engineering and architecture for all of EBC. You're with ModX. I really want people to understand, like even with what you're doing, Ivan, traveling the world, educating, higher education as a professor as well. I think it's awesome, and I think people should know that you actually work with countries to help them understand what's happening in this industry.
Yeah, and I think both countries, but also even regions, and we're trying to put together those relationships. Yeah. So Sweden and Minnesota have a historic link. It's nice to see that now Minneapolis and Stockholm have those kind of links around offsite. And that's again that culture piece and that people piece and getting that dialogue. The technology is great, but it's really people that make that difference.
Awesome. Well, listen, thanks for taking a few moments away from your wine. I hope you guys had a great time today. I'm going to go over here and bother some other people.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks now. All right, let's walk over this way. So, two industry leaders right there. Super awesome to be with. Let's go over this way. I'm going to grab Nolan. He's talking right now. Let's go over here. I don't want to bother him. We'll come into this sector here. Let's go over here. So this is an interesting person that we just met today. Come on in, Craig.
Hey, Dave.
All right. Craig, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, because once you do, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we use this product.
Hey, Craig Robertson, National Gypsum. We make drywall. I head up our technology and innovation, and we're out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, so you've been in this industry for quite some time now, huh?
38 years.
38 years, and you've seen a lot of changes that were happening in the manufactured home side.
Yes.
But now you're also seeing a big shift just in off-site in general. Tell us a little bit about the journey of what you guys are seeing.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see more uptake on the modular institutional manufacturing, especially with fire-rated systems and needs for different types of products.
Yeah. Are you seeing a growth, like when you say the uptick, are you seeing more manufacturers coming into the space? We're here, obviously, the ICC, HUD, NTA, they're all looking at the space now in a much broader light. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the first, one of the first applications we saw was volumetric building components over in North Carolina, which has now moved to Pennsylvania. Yeah. And one of the facts I learned today was I didn't realize there was 30 plants in Pennsylvania. So I did not realize that. So that's really a big development.
Well, you guys need to put a plant in Pennsylvania.
Well, we've got one out in Shippingport, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh, you do have one in Shippingport, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
What is the strategy with gypsum moving forward? What are you looking at?
We really need to figure out where the main problems are with the institutionalized, industrialized components, and solve their problems. And so that's what we want to work with, is to solve problems.
Do you spend a lot of time with manufacturers and people trying to understand what those problems are and how your product fits into their solutions?
Yes, that's really, we find typically innovation, the best way to do a fast innovation is to solve a problem. So the more we can talk to people with problems and figure out a way to solve them, the faster we can innovate.
This event today, you've been here most of the day. What have you learned? Any takeaways that you want to share?
Yeah, I would tell you robotics, 3D printing, fast places. Japan having a plant that builds 125 homes or pods a day is huge. So it's been a great learning experience.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that plan, we're hoping to get in there one of these days.
I'd love to have a video.
They keep it pretty hush. Yeah, there's no videos in that plan. But it actually picks the modules up and like spins them, man. It's pretty cool stuff.
That was really interesting. I made a note to figure out if I could go find something on YouTube or something like that.
To check it out. Well, Craig, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. It's been a pleasure meeting you while we're here. We're going to actually have you on the show so we can talk about innovation.
Good.
We can talk about what you're doing with Gypsum to help drive the industry forward, and I know you guys are looking at different ways of applying what you already make.
Super, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you very much.
Okay.
I'll let you get back over there. So if you would just pan over here, we're not going to bother everybody. You got Jerry McCahey sitting over there. We got Ryan Colker sitting over here. There's Colby Swanson again. So all excellent stuff. Let's walk over here. I wanted to see, we got Module and we got Ken Semler all here. So let's bother them. Let me see what we can do. Do you mind if I bother you for a minute?
I never mind if you bother me, Dave.
Yeah. Well, let's have a chat, and everybody come in. Look at this. I mean, we got a trio here, right? A 4-2.
Look at his chest right there.
I know. Module, Brian Gaudio's in the house. I'm just going to hand that to you. You're going to have to be the mic person for everybody over here.
All
right. So Ken, introduce yourself. Everybody knows who you are, but introduce yourself anyhow. Ken
Hi,
Semler.
I'm Ken Semler. I have Impressa Modular. We have a magazine in the industry, Offsite Builder, and a factory in South Carolina.
You're better promoting than I am. I love it. Go ahead. Tell everybody who you are, Michael.
Hello, Michael Lai from Seattle, Washington. Been business since 98, done over 62 different deals, and have an office in Seattle, Saigon, Hanoi, and I'm here loving the show.
Perfect.
All right. So I'm Brian Gaudio, CEO at Module. We're out of Pittsburgh. Modular builder. We launched our urban manufacturing program the last mile. We were just on Dave Cooper Live on Monday, so thank you.
There you go.
That was fun. And now we got our unit here on the mall. So we got a ADU, a backyard home, all electric on the mall. So come, if you're in DC, come hang out. We'll be there.
Brian, since you have the mic, why don't we just start with you because you're good with it anyhow, right? Tell us a little bit about the mall, right? You had a bit of a journey coming here. We won't get into that, but the mall itself and the products that are down there, outside of you have your module,
Yep.
but there's a lot of really cool stuff there. You have to be impressed by some of the stuff you're seeing.
I am impressed. So there's a company out of Vermont called Wheel Pads.
Yep.
So Wheel Pads, they build kind of like backyard homes, but for people that live in a wheelchair. And so it's an all-accessible unit. And what I thought was really cool, because HUD's sponsoring the show, Wheel Pads partnered with HUD to fund some of these units for people who have traumatic brain injuries. And I thought that was really cool. So that was the coolest thing I've seen at the show.
Super cool. You just got here, I think you were down in the mall most of the day. How important is like the ICC and HUD and NTA all coming together at a big event, not only just here, but on the National Mall? What's your thoughts on the power of this?
I mean, without this, the industry won't grow. And, Ken is a huge mentor of ours, and the industry needs folks like Ken and Dave to be helping companies like us, which are just getting it started. And so I think that's really important. I think it comes down to education. That's what we're really doing, is educating. Anybody and everybody can walk in on the National Mall, so that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
And then also educating the Congress people, senators, and I think it's really important.
And that's really important because they were on the mall today. We got to interview some of them, so that's going to come up. So you'll be able to see some of the higher level people that were there and the people we've gotten to meet. So love it. Brian, how about passing it over to Michael here? Michael, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what it is you do exactly.
Well, I come from Vietnam. My dad is a U.S. Marine in South Vietnam for 18 years. So, after the Saigon Fall, I tried to escape to China and then finally make it my way to Seattle. So got involved into real estate back in 1998. And I told myself that someday I would bring the American dream to the people like me that need it. That's why I create the the largest EB5 regional center, apply with the USCIS and DHS and get that approved in 24 states. So I went back to Vietnam and open an office and hoping to keep the American dream alive for a lot of people over there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why are you at this event today? Tell us a little bit what brought you here and what you learned.
Well, I came here because I want to. I need a coach and I need a mentor. So I found a great one right here that he's gonna teach me.
You see how I turned out? I don't know.
I do believe that new builder
You'll
investor.
be like the rest of us.
It's a requirement.
I do believe that new builder, new investor, it's about learning curve, and I would like to learn about modular build it upside. Right. Because I think that, like Boeing build an airplane inside the factory, Tesla build the car inside the factory. We should build home in the factory as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Agree. Well, Michael, we're glad you're here. Appreciate that. And Michael, I haven't asked him yet, but I think we're going to have you on the show. I think it'd be really good to talk about what you're doing. And, I mean, it's big. And I think what you're taking on is really impressive. And I think a lot of people should hear your story.
Thank you, Dave.
Is that an acceptance? Did you just say yes? All right. Ken.
I'll get the money out and give it to these guys.
Oh, you get the money? Yeah. Ken Semler.
What's my question, Dave?
Why? You're just good at this. So I got to ask you something? No, it's really the same question, right? Ken, when was the last time you were at an event with ICC and HUD and NTA all together with a national event on the mall that has become as big as it has the last couple of years?
This is actually, this is just a growth of something that's been started years ago. In 2019, when they rolled this out on the show or on the mall, and then we had COVID kind of jumped into the middle of it. But it's growing, and I mean, I would say since 2019 when they started it, it was the beginning of the year when it seems like everybody's light bulb came on with offsite. And it's just been growing every year. At the International Builder Show, we have, the ICC, the merging of ICC with NTA, NTA being the largest approver of factories and offsite construction in the nation. I mean, the path is set where we're going. It's not a matter of if now, it's a matter of when.
Right.
I mean, there's so many people that have been in this industry. Really, I'm going to say the first pioneers took all the arrows. Now we're the second set of pioneers, and now we're getting to the settler part. I'm excited that we're going to have a lot of settlers here that are going to get the advantages of all the ground laid for them with events like this.
You're licensed in all 42
states,
42?
not quite. Yeah.
All right. So 42 states. How important is the policy, local policy, state policy, federal policy, to come together to really come up with solutions that can work?
Well, as part of what was talked about here today is there's a lot of work to be done, and it's events like this that start the groundwork to lay, because we still have issues of manufacturing off-site versus on-site construction.
Right.
Codes are skewed towards on-site construction. We don't have some of those disadvantages in the factory. Some of the unification of codes to help with all the deviations that we deal with from state to state, jurisdiction to jurisdiction, I think we're starting to come up with some of the solutions to help make it easier for us to do what we do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you had any advice to anybody out there looking at this industry, what would you tell them?
I would say the hardest part in this industry is find a mentor. Yeah. Find somebody that's in this industry already. There are people out there that want to help. Don't go it alone. I mean, I don't want anybody to become a one-and-done builder. I want somebody to find a mentor, get through this, get success early, and then get success often after that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about the Last Mile Lab real quick. You good with that?
Sure.
I think everybody should know, Brian, what you've been working on. I mean, you've been in this industry, started up, 5, 6 years now?
7 years,
7 years, right? Let's talk about where you were and where you are today, because now, not only are you building and designing your modules, you've actually started your own innovation lab, so to speak, called The Last Mile.
Yeah, so what we found, the interesting thing, so we're out of Pittsburgh, and we serve, a lot of our customers are affordable housing developers.
Yep.
And that niche, they are really interested in modular. They want to build modular. One of the challenges they have is they're getting funding from state or federal government. And some of that funding says we want to create jobs locally. So we said, okay, how can we bring the power of the modular factory and some of those trades and things, but put that in the context of the area that we're building? So that's kind of the last mile is, okay, let's do a couple of things. We will start a workforce training program because there's, as Ken knows, there's a lot, a lot's done in the factory, but there's a lot to be finished on site. So let's teach people how to finish modular homes on site. So we're doing workforce training. We got a group called the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh as a fellow 412.
Yeah.
So with the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, they're bringing students that have barriers to employment coming into the construction trades, and they're partnering with us. And they actually finished the unit on the mall. They worked and finished, which is really cool. So I think that's one thing we're doing. And we're partnering with building product manufacturers. So as an example, in the floor of our home on the mall, there's a lot of modular factories will only do LVT or that type of flooring.
Right.
We put in an engineered hardwood. It's actually out of, it's a Swedish company called Cares, and they've developed an engineered flooring system that can be built in the factory, and they want to figure out how do we show that this is possible. So we're doing things like that, partnering with these building product manufacturers who are saying we want to install our materials, we want to do it in the factory because that's the future, but it's going to be a little bit different. So that's some of the work we're doing there.
ICC, HUD, NTA, all coming together, right? You haven't been in the industry like Ken here and myself for many years, and you look at it with a different lens, and that's where all these new ideas that you're coming up with and why you're seeing that success. What do you see that has to happen from a policy or a state level to make lives easier for the manufacturing of houses and shipping and all those things?
So I think from a policy standpoint, from like offsite specifically, I think we're obviously biased because we're Pennsylvania based, but Pennsylvania I think has a great, and I know Mike Mogley is here today, but they have a great program for modular. I think there's 35 factories in Pennsylvania, so they're doing something right. And so how can other states learn from the way Pennsylvania's built that industry? So I think that would be one thinking is what are the policies in place in Pennsylvania and how might we bring those to other places? And then from a policy around housing in general, I think what we have to do is make it easier to build housing, right? There's a lot of NIMBYism out there, and I think you're seeing some states pass legislation at the state level saying you're allowed to build more density, you're allowed to do this or that, and I think you're seeing that in California. They legalized the backyard homes, they've legalized building 4 units on a single family lot, so I think more of that is going to come across states, and that's really important because if we can't get into the ground, then we're going to have this problem is going to continue to persist.
Well, and that's really it, right? I mean, but this is the start of it. It's the start of the conversations. It's bringing the stakeholders together. You know, and it's funny, since I've been here, when you start peeling back the onion of all the different things that are happening at a federal level and a state level, and then we go home and deal with it at a local level, it's a lot of peeling that you're doing on the onions and really understanding, you know, what's going on. So, cool, man. Appreciate you, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Michael, Ken, we're going to mosey this way. Oh, I see Devin Perry's over there. I bet he loves to be caught on camera with the beer. All right, guys, we'll come back and see you in a bit. Did you want to come on and say anything?
Yeah, I would love to say something. Okay.
Here he comes. See, I knew he was going to come in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he wants a picture too.
They want to record it.
Yeah.
Record it.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Kevin Lai, and I'm here with my brother from Seattle, Washington, Pacific Northwest area.
I thought you two looked alike.
Well, you know what? His partner yesterday say, "Oh, are you guys brother?" I said, "We're brother."
Yeah, I can tell, like, your eyebrows and everything. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, good. Well, you know, wonderful opportunity to be here. Yesterday we have a chance to view the site. Ken took the tour the site in Pennsylvania. It's a wonderful opportunity. The first time we've seen the factory, the work actually being done in the area, and the work that actually, you know, assemble and ship across the country. Something you know like that is very foreign to the area that where we're coming from, because most of the stuff over there are built outside in the weather element, and you know Pacific Northwest is not the ideal place to build outside because the water gets soaked, and then the quality going to be degraded really quickly over time. The people are over there, you know, the buyer, the developer, and the builder, it's a foreign concept for them. They don't know it, and once people don't know it, they have a lot of resistance to it. And just like you mentioned earlier, you know, the modular build is the way to go. But we need to put the words out there. We need to have more public education about it, so people, you know, the builder, developer, and the buyer alike, you know, get into the same concept and perception that modular build is the way to go and moving forward like that. Because if anything that we can build, if Tesla can build a car in the factory, they can drive on the street at, you know, 85 miles per hour. Man, how high it is to build a house?
Yeah.
How high it is to build a house?
Harder than you think.
Yeah.
It's harder than you think, you know. But
There's a lot of
but first
parts.
we have to work
There's
through.
a lot of little
Right.
codes
Yeah.
and things
But
that
first we have
Yeah.
to work through the local jurisdiction, state
Yeah.
law, and then for federal level too. So there's a lot of work to be done. I heard from the council, the panel today. We need to be more vocal. We need to
Right.
be engaged, and that's how we bring the community together to get it done.
And that's really it. What is your biggest takeaway from this event today?
The biggest takeaway from this event is that we, for us, from coming where we are coming from,
Yeah.
we see the developer, we see the co-compliance, we see the factory manufacturer owner.
Yeah.
We talk to them, we see how the production go, and at the same time we see the federal level that here we are here right here in DC. So we really go to the top all the way to the bottom, and we see it all. So really a big takeaway from that is that we tour the site, his factory, and we come here to see how the community and the federal law come to state law and go to local jurisdiction, how it goes.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, we've been interviewing, the advisors to the Secretary of Housing, Dan Hardcastle. They've been here all day. The policymakers are here. The decision makers are here. So they're listening. And Ken, you'll vouch. It's not something that has happened in the past. And there's a lot of people here. This is great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Great time.
All right, so I didn't know this. You didn't tell me I was getting 2 for 1 on the show. So now I got 2 of you coming on.
Okay, good.
Right?
Now you can pick 2 in 1.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I'll take that back.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much, everybody. We're going to go over here.
Okay, good.
Not interrupting your drinks anymore. Let's walk over here. I see Matt Belcher. He's always good for camera.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Look at that.
Yeah, Matt Belcher's always good for camera. Oh, hi there.
Have you met Karen?
Yeah, well, of course I've met. Of course I've met. Matt, Operation Triage.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Operation Triage, big appetite for the off-site industry, bigger advocate for the veterans across this country, which is near and dear to my heart as
Yes,
well.
sir.
I wear my Operation Triage stuff all the time.
Thank you for your
and
service
I don't know
always.
if you know it yet, if you haven't talked to Shemaine, we have a show getting ready to start, and we're looking to bring all you guys in. Yeah,
Good.
so-
I was going to ask you what this says. So that was
yeah,
awesome.
and it's going to be all veteran-based, veteran workers, and we're going to come up in helicopter. It's a whole other story. So anyhow,
rope line out of the helicopter.
Sure. So where have you been all day? And we're going to join. You got to walk around today too, right?
I actually was working a resolution through the spanking machine of HBA, all the different committees, for offsite construction. I worked with Gabe Miser with ICC, and to promote the ICC MBI 1200 series of standards. So we needed to, as a federation, NHB needed to get behind that and promote it. It is going to be a terrific vehicle for the offsite industry to define itself as opposed to HUD housing, trailers and things like that, which has been a sore need for a long time, especially on the modular side. So just went through the whole process with that. You've got to present to the various committees and subcommittees that have an interest in the subject and get their approval, which we did. Had 2 minor friendly modifications and just got done with the resolutions committee of NHB, which is the ultimate spanking machine. But honestly, it's a terrific way to vet an idea through the process. So we made a minor modification. It was approved, and we were out of there. So
cheers!
Finally,
Right.
Yes.
And now you got Dave Cooper in your face.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good to see you, my friend.
Have you been out in Have you been out on the mall? Either of you yet? No.
She walked around a little bit close to the hotel today, but
just the neighborhoods.
Right. It's amazing what's out there. Are you planning on going out there tomorrow?
We hope to. We got to leave early tomorrow. We got family stuff going on this weekend.
And cattle.
And livestock, and we need rain.
Yeah.
A little bit of rain. The neighbors had hay down, so we were praying for rain, but hold off.
Right.
God, could you hold off a week or so they get their hay up?
How you've been in the offsite industry, a long time, as well as myself. Events like this are starting to happen more and more.
Yes.
What have you seen as far as the change? And I even see like your wife saying, it has, right? You've been in it, and you're in the offsite space, so we're not going to leave until you also tell people what you do outside Operation Triage.
Oh, absolutely. You mean my regular phony baloney job?
Yeah.
Obviously I'm a builder primarily. I mean, by birthright I'm a builder, and our daughter's a third generation now builder. And So I grew up, my dad worked for a major lumber and building materials company, and they built wall panels, frame wall panels back in the 60s, the last century. And so I kind of grew up, knowing that was the way we built. So as we got into, I was a code official for a number of years, of course, and so we got back into building. We were trying to build better homes, resilient homes, and energy efficient, of course. But we, start building with panel systems, structural insulated panels. We built a lot with them. Got some really cool, multi-system homes. We got a huge timber frame home with all SIPs envelope on it, so ICF Foundation. So we're checking all the boxes.
You are checking all the boxes.
Yeah, and it's just cool. You got a great client that wants to do it.
Yep.
And just enjoy the ride when you get projects like that. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, and I think the fact that you donate and your wife donate so much of your time, like you said, down here in Washington, at all the board meetings, at all the subcommittee meetings, and out of wanting to make change in the industry.
Yeah, well, two reasons. One of the main reasons, when I was coming up through the industry, I had a lot of guys that I really respected without even ever meeting them that were in our leadership for our local Home Builders Association. And, being a code official coming back into the building space, I was fortunate that I had a little bit of a unique approach to it. So I got involved with codes, of course, nationally, more than 25 years ago. We'll leave it at that. And
you don't look a bit over 19, my friend.
Well, we used to be young and good looking, and now we're just good looking. So,
That's right.
Coming up here, traveling with those guys, and they really, really mentored me, and meeting all the people in the industry, of course, it's not coming up here necessarily. We take care of business when we're here.
Right.
But it's the relationships, and that's all we've done. We had this event, we had the responsibilities of doing that resolution process. So I called the vice chair of Building Systems Council, Ken, and I knew he'd be perfect. And Gabe he texted me a picture when he was on the panel up there, and he had a microphone in his hand. Like, oh God, you gave him a microphone.
Well, that's what happens, but when you love what you do.
Yes,
so
exactly.
We're gonna wrap up here, but before we do, how do people donate to Operation Triage? Let's make sure we put it out there. Let's give a shout out to Dan and all the people that are working hard to help not just veterans but first responders.
Actually, Dan did a interview with Shemaine on her podcast last weekend. It was on there. Yeah, so you can go to Shemaine Nugent's podcast.
That's right.
Just wherever you get your podcast from. OperationTriage.org, and just the important part is we're small but we're mighty, and every dime that gets donated to us goes to the problem. We don't make any. We exist so we can do that. Really, it's not about having a company and building an empire. It's doing that because you leave here without cash, but the reward you get from that is just immeasurable. So and no salaries. We have a tiny bit of constant overhead for our bookkeeper, CPA, that keeps us reined in.
Oh, yeah, sure. The basic stuff. It's not like 90% goes to the bookkeeper and 10% to the profit. It's 99% of it goes to the nonprofit. 99.9.
And the name triage, of course, means that we prioritize need, and we deal in needs and not wants. We've been doing a lot more, not counseling, but just helping veterans out. We're finding a lot of veterans, both Vietnam era still, and even Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan veterans that aren't getting the benefits they're due because the VA is not telling them. They just don't know. They don't know who to call.
I'm an example of that. That happened to me.
Yeah, so we've been doing, and Dan, of course, being a veteran himself, he runs all those traps. So you get him on your side, and you just hang on to his cape. Superman's going to take you on a ride.
I appreciate it. I know I caught everybody off guard. It's live. Everybody's having drinks.
It's cool. We're honored to do it.
I couldn't pass up a chance.
Yeah, appreciate
All right, Vince, we're going to wrap it up on this one. Why don't we take it over there and show that sign? I'm Dave Cooper. We will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on the mall. Be there because we're going to showcase all the houses that are set up out there, and we're going to walk through. If it takes an hour, we'll take an hour. If it takes 2 hours, we'll take 2 hours, as long as our batteries hold up.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Bye now. Thanks for watching.